So here I am, in a Discord server talking to other like-minded idiots, and the question came up. If you were in a fighting game, what weapon would you have? And that's how this whole thing started. So I just created a new Unity game, went onto Bracky's channel and installed their 2D movement script, and I made a sprite for one of the members in this Discord server. Add the movement script and the rigid body, and that should be in oh no. I think I forgot about a few things. Right, let's turn down the speed, constrain their movement, and everything should be fine. But I don't really like this current sprite, so let's just upgrade it. Okay, great. Now that's the movement done, now we need to add some combat. However, if we did want to add combat, we need someone to stab. So I just quickly drew a recall of Spooky from Spooky's Jumpscare Mansion, simply because of the Living Tombstone song based on it, just decided to appear in my YouTube recommended. I mean, I guess this makes sense since ghosts don't really die. Now that we have the melee fighting and the health bar integrated, we can now fight and kill people. However, I did find a problem. A fighting game can be rather boring if you just don't have any secondary attacks or special attacks. So using Boy G Biff's concept art, I gave him a moveset based on magical shards. However, I realised that the secondary attack is just literally the same attack as the primary attack, but bigger. Because of this problem, I took a quick minute to make a rainbow shard and turn it into a projectile, and doing that was a simple enough process. We just slap on a rigid body for physics, give it collisions, do some nerd stuff, and now we can murder people with mystical and magical shards. From there we can just use these shards as ammunition and make it into our own special attacks. Although at this point several problems have come up: movement and multiplayer. As for movement, I had noticed that jumping just didn't feel right, so I added a feature that's featured in literally every game that involves jumping: jump buffering. So jump buffering is just a way to allow the player to jump when they were literally pixels away from the ground. However, instead of doing it at that immediate moment, effectively making it a double jump, buffers it until you are on the ground itself. So I'll just add a little timer that does it for me, and it does not work. Why doesn't it work? Oh my god. So, as it turns out, I needed to revamp the whole movement system in a way that instead of relying on rigid bodies, it relies on character controllers, but I was done. I didn't need to do anything else. But I wasn't satisfied. I could have stopped, but I continued to mess with it anyways. I wanted to put in the Celeste movement mechanics into my game. If you somehow haven't heard of it, it's a 2D platformer and your movement is very special because you can do stupid random stuff like brave and hyper dashing. It just astounds me how anyone can do that consistently all the time. But the thing is, there's things that are more important than that, and that is literally moving. And I'll talk about it briefly because I've got an upcoming project that talks about it quite a lot. How movement in Celeste works is that you build up speed and lose speed gradually, depending on your movement state. But all of this happens in a span of a couple of frames, but that's just simple stuff. Any random regular game has that. But jumping and gravity isn't so simple. It works in a way that when you're falling from a jump, you get heavier. When you're at a velocity of 0 or beneath that, you gradually gain, mass or weight. And there's this whole system with half gravity thresholds and max fall speeds. It's just crazy. Although I could watch a tutorial on this, it just didn't get me so optimal results, so I had to go to the source itself. Celeste. Turns out there was a GitHub repository, and this was a massive revelation, especially since it was in C#, so I could transfer it over really easily. However, another problem just decided to present itself. The approach function. It was nowhere in the script, it was nowhere in the GitHub repository. But luckily, there was a tweet on Twitter talking about a recent Game Maker's Toolkit video asking the Celeste devs about the horizontal movement in the game. Fortunately, to my surprise, the devs did respond with a perfect piece of information. It's literally gold, the approach function itself. Because of this, I had everything put together in the Celeste movement system into my game, or at least mostly copy it because sometimes it just didn't want to work. Whew, oh my lord. That was a long tangent. Now I'm pretty sure I had something else to talk about. Oh no, dear God. I think I'll have to talk about it now. I've barely started to develop the multiplayer aspect of the game, and I'm already scared of it. This is a 2D fighting game that's all based around multiplayer. If I don't even make a good multiplayer system, the whole game is effectively bad. This is my first time making a multiplayer system within anything. Fortunately, Unity just decided to come and release that netcode for game objects components. It's apparently a much better solution to making multiplayer games that they used to have. Additionally, I could upload my game onto something like itch.io or Steam, but I'd like to upload it on Steam, and that would just need a small and minuscule fee of $100? What the hell? Although, admittedly, if I do want people to somehow find my game and have a somewhat stable way to set up my multiplayer, well then I do have to give in to the fee. And that's about as far as I've gotten with my game. Now I'd just like to say some things that I'd like to see out of this game in the future, the multiplayer. I'd like to start with netcode, because I need to somehow dip my toes into multiplayer, because I've literally no clue what I'm doing. Even if this does mean I'll have to change all my code again, to eventually get the Steam network in to be working in my game. I'd also like to make some more characters and a character select screen, because, well, how are you supposed to play the game? And I'd like to fully set up my Steam store page, and plenty of other things that I just forgot about at the moment. Yeah, I'd just like to say that I really appreciate that you're watching this video. I just hope that you like and subscribe, just so that you can see more of this content coming out soon. I just hope to bring out a dev vlog about every month or so. If I miss a month, it's just I don't really have anything interesting to say, or it's just there's so much to do. Also, down in the description there should be a link to my Patreon page. I've just set it up for people who'd like to support me, but also like to get some bonus content and maybe some early access work to my upcoming projects or upcoming videos. And goodbye.